Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Shonteria, much more Clarke here with me today. She's going to go by the name Much More. It means so much. It represents a lot, and we'll learn about that today as well. But she's in the brand building process, ladies and gentlemen. She's on the road to the stars and beyond. And so we're going to respect that, and we're going to call her much more throughout this conversation. We've already got a comment in the building, and it's Chastity Curry. She says, hello all. Hey, Chastity, how you doing out there?
Hi,
Now,
Chastity.
much more. I want to say thank you for coming on to our platform. I want to say hello to everybody who might be watching out there in TV land, Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Facebook, and YouTube. People watching us that we can't see. I want to say thank you for being a part of our machine here, and welcome to another episode. So we're going to get right into it. Where are you from?
I'm from Miami, Florida, like Dade. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, born and raised.
Dade is world famous by people like Rick Ross,
Uh-huh.
Trick Daddy,
Right.
Kodak Black, right?
No, he's more Broward.
Broward, okay.
He's Broward. Trick Daddy. He was a
Mm-hmm.
whole
Mm-hmm.
and Kodak is from Broward.
Dade County is known for being a tough area to grow up in for everybody.
Definitely, definitely a tough area. This all I know though, but I've never been really outside of Dade, like or Florida like that.
Mhm. What was it like for you growing up in Dade County? Can you paint that picture for us? Let's say when you were 5 years old, what was going on?
Five, that's a while back. Five, growing up in Dade. I don't remember five like that. But
Okay.
as a young child, it was okay. Like my mother, which is my actually my aunt, she raised me, so I call her mom. But she was a very good parent. Like she made sure I had the best shoes in school, the best everything. She did her thing with me as
Hmm.
far as raising me.
Hmm. Do you have siblings?
Yes. I have four siblings. My biological mother, she had five kids, and each person in the family took a child because she wasn't able to raise us at that time. But my aunt took
Wow.
me and my sisters, and then we all split up. So
So you're one of five siblings.
yes, on my mother's side, yes,
Hmm. Did everybody live in Dade County at least?
yeah. Everybody, we all grew up in Dade, all of
Hmm.
us. Hmm.
And how old were you when you got split up from your brothers and sisters?
3 days old.
You were 3 days old?
Out straight out of the hospital. My mother took me. Well, my aunt. I call her mom, so I'm gonna be calling her
Right.
mom, and I'm
Okay.
gonna call my biological mother mother.
Okay.
But my mom took me 3 days old. My mother was a drug addict, so all she couldn't take care of none of her kids, so we all had to split up. But we were still within the family, thank God. I didn't go
Hmm.
to foster home or anything like that.
Wow. What was that like for you growing up, um, not living with your biological mother and being separated from your brothers and sisters? What was that like for you?
Well, we weren't really separated, but not having my mother or my father in my life, it had it it touched me. Like growing up, I would always we would just me and my sisters, we would just want to hang around my mom. Like we would just want my mom to come get us, like spend time with us and stuff like that. But now, I'm older now, so looking back, it's a lot of things, a lot of resentment that we had towards her, but it was pretty tough. My aunt had to raise me. My father was nowhere to be found, but that's the American Dade County
Hmm.
story.
Hmm. And that's unfortunate that so many people grow up that way. Um, where was your father? Did you ever get to meet him?
Yeah, I actually did meet my father. I had a relationship with his dad and his mother, but my father took me to court and because he didn't believe that I was his child. And back then him and my mother were on drugs, stuff happened. But he took me to court. I think I was 15, if I'm not mistaken. And he asked the judge for fraternity, not a fraternity, a DNA test.
Mm-hmm.
And when he asked me for the test, the judge was like, "No way, she looks just like your mother." So he never got to get that, but he was never there. He was never there. I mean, I feel as when I was younger, he tried. Like he brought me a That's So Raven DVD case. That's the last thing, and maybe a bike. It's the last thing I remember of him. But now it's like last time I tried to rekindle my relationship with him, I was in high school, and we got into a little argument, and he kicked me out his house, and he said, "Hey, don't come back to my house without a DNA test."
Wow. Did you ever want more of a relationship with your father?
Course,
Right.
of course. Listen, of course. I
Mhm.
still, if my dad was to call me today, I would still have a relationship with him. There's nothing in this world that would stop me from having a relationship with my dad. That's something I always wanted growing up.
Mhm.
Beside questioning myself, was it me? Like, what was it that I couldn't have that father, a real biological father in my life?
Mhm. What do you say to all the fathers out there who are not in their children's lives because of a DNA test? What do you say to them today?
That you got to answer to God. You
Wow.
you just have to answer to God. You are responsible for your seeds, so
Mhm.
you have to answer to God.
That's right. What was elementary school like for you?
Elementary school, I had I had a case of asthma. I remember I had a
Mhm.
little heart attack, not a heart attack, an asthma attack on the field. But elementary school overall was good. Like, I wanted to be an entertainer. Like my mom, she brought me like all this. I was spoiled because
Okay.
after eventually all of my sisters, we split up to different family members, but we never just literally split up to the point that we didn't have a relationship with each other.
Mhm.
But my mom, I was the only girl, so my mom pretty much, she did her thing. Like she made sure I was okay.
You know what I'm liking about what you're saying so far is that people, because of media, they hear Dade County and they think danger, and then they hear that you were separated from your brothers and sisters, and so they can hear that that you grew up without. But in fact, your family stepped in, took you all in, and provided a good life for you. And I think that is a very positive narrative for us to raise awareness about today. There are families here in America that want the children of their relatives. Everybody doesn't have to go into foster care. It's important to find out if other members of the family are willing to step up to the plate like people in your family did, because it makes a big difference. It truly makes a big difference. And how much respect did you gain for this auntie for stepping into your life like that?
Oh my gosh. That lady there, she get on my nerves, but she is that's just mother daughter. I love this lady. Like I cannot wait to be able to take care of her for the rest of her life. Like in
Hmm.
my life. Like I
Hmm.
love her so much. I have her respect. And when I was younger, I didn't notice that. Like I didn't notice. Like I just felt like she had to do these things. But now that I'm older, is like, wow, she really took all three of the girls in before we separated. Like that's crazy. And she claimed me before I even was like before my mother even gave birth to me, because she knew my mother wasn't going to be able to take care of me.
Right. Now, in general, what was going on with your family in general? What were the trends? What were the patterns? Did your cousins, for instance, did they have their fathers in their lives? Did everybody not have fathers? What was going on?
Um, Throughout my family, it was and maybe currently is, just to be quite frank with you. But it was a lot of drug addicts in my family. I'm
Mm.
talking about my grandmother, my aunties, my cousins, my mother, my father. That's all I seen growing up, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. And my cousins, their fathers was in and out, or some were in. It's just 50-50. I didn't really have, like, I knew I grew up with my cousins, but not really. I didn't have a relationship with them like that. But now they can call me, I can call them. I was young, so
Right. And what were your thoughts about about drugs growing up? What did you think about drugs, in middle school? What were your thoughts about them, given the impact that you saw them having on your family?
I hated drugs. I still hate drugs. Like I still hate. Like I feel like it tore what what could have been a great family, a mom, a dad, her siblings, her brothers, her sisters. It tore that up for me. So looking at drugs, I just never ever liked them. Even to this day, like I could never see myself doing any type of heroin, crack, cocaine, none of that. Like
Mhm.
I just can't. I mean, but honestly, through it all, like I gained a different type of respect from my mother, my actual biological mother. I gained a different type of understanding as I grew up because there were times when she would, like, to this day, like not even to this day, but like maybe a year ago, she was in like the group homes, like rehab, trying to get her
Mhm.
life together. I was there with her every step of the way, and I had to, like, for myself, I had to really forgive her, and I had to be there for her because a drug is a bad spirit that I don't even know. I'm not familiar with it for within me. So I
Right.
had to really forgive her and put myself in her shoes. Yes, it was wrong, but where do we move from now, Mom? Like, how do we
Right.
fix this?
Right. What's your message to your mom today?
Oh, I love her. I talk to my mom maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. I love my mom. I
Mhm.
love her. I love her. It's nothing that can happen. No one can say anything different to me that's going to change my relationship with her. I love her beyond anything, and I forgive her. So she knows that, and we're just moving forward.
That's right.
Sorry,
Any,
let me
any
go ahead.
anybody else in your family exhibit talent, whether it be in fashion, business, overall professionalism? Was there anybody that you could look up to in that way?
Look up to my sister. I would say, my sister. She's old. She's an older sister. She's like 3 years older than me. I want to say I'm 25, but overall, she went to college first. That I saw were beside my cousin, but she went to college and she was just very adamant about where she wanted to be in life, always
Mhm.
to this day. And her name is Shakira. She was just always adamant, and she was like an example for me. But other than that, anyone else, my mom never had a 9 to 5, so
Mhm.
I watched her hustle. It was times that I had to go into the store with her, and she used to sell perfume, bags, anything that she could sell. She sold. I never saw her have a 9 to 5. So it really put a hustle mentality, entrepreneurship mentality on me. So that's where I learned from. Really was my sister and my mom.
Mhm.
That's about it
Mhm.
that I can remember for now.
Did you ever have thoughts about being an entrepreneur one day when you were younger?
I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
I wanted to do entertainment. Like I just love, like I'm a Leo, if that have anything to do with it. But I just love being the center of attention. I always was like that growing up. I would sing, like do duets with my sisters, and we would sing like Cheetah Girls at the family gatherings and all of that. But when I noticed that I wanted to become an entrepreneurship, was the person who inspired me was Chris Jenner. When I learned what the word was, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And I saw her, like her lifestyle, her house, her cars. I was like, oh, I want that. But Chris
Right.
Jenner was the first woman that I heard and learned from as far as entrepreneurship, beside my mother, my mom.
Wow. You know what? That really explains the power of media. Media is so powerful. The people that we see on television, the entertainers, the celebrities, the stars, these people play a role in the upbringing of so many children, so many people out there. They grow up looking up to these people, and so I find it interesting for you to point that out. I was also a huge fan. I was a fan of their reality TV show. That was the first reality TV show I ever watched, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And
Mhm.
I watched a lot of those episodes. It gave me insight into people who are usually thinking positive, trying to do something positive, making money, and just presenting themselves the best way that they could to the public. And so I found that to be very interesting. Now, you came here on America's Next Motivator and you said something. You said that you could sing. So obviously, I want to know what you got for us tonight.
Ooh, I never said I could sing. I said I wanted to be a singer. I
Yeah.
cannot sing.
Uh-huh.
I'm not singing.
Right.
I
Because that's
can't.
not what Shakia said. Shakia said you really could sing though, and she put four hearts on. She put four hearts after it.
No, I cannot sing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
I can't
I'm just
sing.
Hey, I'm just messing with you. So you wanted to be a star. You knew that you wanted to get in media. You wanted to be a standout individual, and that you were not going to repeat the patterns in your family that didn't have good outcomes. So now talk to me about your mentality going through middle school. What was your mentality? What did day look like when you were in middle school? What was going on?
Miami Gardens. In middle school, my mom put me in like Hialeah, like where like Spanish people were, and she really tried to keep me away from Dade as much as she can.
Mhm.
But growing up, Dade was, they call it's Miami Gardens, but they call it Murder Gardens because there was a lot of death. To this day, it's still deaths like
Mhm.
every other day.
Mhm.
And I was really in the house a lot. If I wasn't
Right.
in the house, because of my mom. If I wasn't in the house, I was probably at a friend's house who stayed in Hialeah, like my
Mhm.
best friend. So she always, as long as I wasn't in the streets, my mama was okay.
Right.
So
That's the next thing I want to talk about. How did you keep yourself safe in what was such a dangerous environment? How did you manage to keep yourself safe?
it's really about the people you hang around,
Okay.
honestly. So like I said, my group of friends where we all went to the same Spanish middle school. We didn't get into much trouble. If we got in trouble, it was at the school. It's really nothing really. Maybe talking in class or something like that. But when it came to the outside of school, I really just stayed to myself.
Hmm.
I stayed to myself till I got to college, but I stayed to myself. I stayed out of trouble. We weren't clubbing. We weren't doing none of that. We was just always together.
Hmm. And so you're talking about middle school. I think it's very important when you talk about the type of people that you have around you. And I'm also from the inner city. I know sometimes people come and find you. Sometimes negative influences they come and they insist on being an influence in your life. So I want you to talk about a time when somebody or something was a really bad influence on you and you were able to steer clear of it.
Oh, I had a bad influence, but this was toward my college years.
Okay.
Really, I was in the clubs every night. No lie.
Mhm.
I was in clubs. I was drinking every day. Every day. I was going through a bad heartache, so I was drinking every day to like take myself away from the pain. But
Mhm.
and it was my first time with freedom. Going to college, like this is a different type of freedom. Some of my best years was in college. And when I was going out so much and I was experiencing so many things in like these clubs and stuff like that. Like it was nights I couldn't sleep. Like I was just going out so much and I was around all these people, all these weapons, drugs, like weed. Like I would never do it. I would never do the drugs or the weeds, but I to myself I was just like if I'm around this every day and it's kind of sort of like I'm promoting it. Like and
Mhm.
I'm giving them my yes by even being hanging around these people. So
Mhm.
I had to really step back from that and reevaluate my life and like just redirect the path that I was going down because the path I was going down was so scary because I would be in these clubs and drink every single night to the point where I was so intoxicated where I couldn't even like one day I went home to my mom's house and it was me and my friend and we went to my mom's house and she came out. I was throwing up. It was like probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I was throwing up and my friend was trying to cover it up, but it was not working. My mom got up and she said that I was like literally blacked out. I was banging on her door, just doing all these crazy type of things, and I was like, I don't remember none of that. I don't
Wow.
remember. She said I was banging on her door saying, "You don't love me? Do you love me?" I'm like, "Mom, like I don't get it." So I just started to slow down. Like I just couldn't go down that road.
You know, in this moment right here, you relate to so many people. So many people, they go to college or they're seniors in high school, and a lot of people are trying to escape the memories of their past. They're trying to escape the pain or the anxiety of their home life. And so, people in that moment, they go to the club. They go to the club, they standing around in the haze of the club, drinking, partying, and all that. But on those rides home, when you try and put your stomach back together, you try and put your mind back together, you realize that the anxiety is still there. You realize that all the thoughts that you had before you got intoxicated, they're still lingering, and sometimes you're embarrassing yourself, right?
Oh,
But what we're raising awareness about today is the fact that so many people are looking for an escape. They're looking for an escape, and a lot of people, they choose the wrong escape. They choose an escape that's not going to allow them to return to their life. You could get drunk one night, that could be your last night on earth. And I can relate to that. I drank, and I overdrank as well. I realized that it was wrong because I realized the damage that it was doing on my body, and the damage that it was possibly doing to my future. And so I think that there's honor in the fact that you're able to speak on that today. And there's honor in the fact that you said, you know what? I'm out here fitting in, and I don't want to fit in this way. And I'm going to take a step away from this. What did that process look like? I know your homegirls or your homeboys, they were still calling you out night after night. How did you manage to redirect your energy?
man, redirecting was not easy. It wasn't easy because, as I said, it was something I did daily. It was my coping. I used it. I used alcohol to cope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I had a heartbreak one day. Um, I got my heart broken for the second, third time, but that's what all it took. Third time was the charm. So
Mm-hmm.
one morning I woke up, and this is when I moved out of my mom's house because we had got into a little argument or whatever. And I was like, it's time for me to be on my own. So I was at my house, and I was staying with one of my best friends, one of my roommates. And I woke up one morning and I was just so hurt. Oh my gosh, I was so hurt. And I went into the bathroom and I sat down, I used the bathroom, and I just stayed on the toilet and I just bust out crying. Like God won't let me forget this day. And I just couldn't understand why I kept crying. And I said these words. I said, God, and I remembered it. I really remember it. I said, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever I'm doing, everything I try, every interview I'm trying, I just got laid off. I don't know what's going on. But whatever it is, I'm done. My way isn't working, so I'm gonna let you do your way. And from that day forward, I got up and I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm not gonna be another factor of the drug addicts in my family. I'm not. So I completely changed from that. Once I made up in my mind, I said, I'm done, God. You can have your way with my life. I'm going to take my hands off of the wheel. From that day, I gave up alcohol. I stopped going to clubs. I stopped going out. I literally just narrowed down, and God told me that I was going to start a clothing line. So I just focused on that because for so long I was trying to ignore that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to start a clothing line. I felt like it was just not for me. But once I had that conversation with God, I got up and I kept it moving, and everything turned around from then.
Ladies and gentlemen, this moment that she's talking about right here, where you have an epiphany, you have a turnaround, the light bulb in your head goes off and says, oh, I've been waiting on you to pay some attention to me. I've been waiting on you to say, hey, the answer is not out there. The answer is in here. Everybody deserves that moment. Listen to what Much More is saying to you tonight. There's so much more in your life waiting to be revealed to you. So much more. Positivity, happiness, health, wealth, all those things go together. You got to wake up at some point. You got to say, you know what? My family might have did this. Maybe my family didn't know any better. I know from firsthand experience now because I'm doing it. And trust me, I'm not here to make anybody feel bad that's out there drinking, smoking, and doing what they want to do. What we're raising awareness about tonight is that those things lower your frequency. When you're drinking, your frequency gets lower. When you're smoking, your frequency gets lower. But guess what? In life, in order for you to be successful, your frequencies have to be high. Your thoughts have to be high level. Your level of offense has to be high. You have to be competitive. And so keep that in mind, because that's where the stress and anxiety comes in at. The world is asking you to lower your frequency, but your destiny is asking you to raise your frequency. So you've got to be able to make that turn in your life. And that's what Much More is talking about tonight. So I hear you keep mentioning God. Where did that seed get planted for you?
In high school of my freshman year, me and my boyfriend at the time would go to church with his family, and that's when
Wow.
I really like we would read the Bible and everything. And my apostle, my spiritual father, my dad, I call him. He is a miracle worker. He's spoken to me from my freshman year in high school till now. I'm faithfully in church, and his name is Roach Green. No, I'm sorry, Gene, Pastor
Okay.
Gene. He's
Mhm.
at Divine Hope Ministries, and he's such a blessing. Him and his wife, and he planted God. When I went to that church, I saw things that I never saw in my life. I saw God speaking through him, using him as a vessel, people falling out, people speaking, just everything. And
Mhm.
that was when I first was introduced to God.
The power of church, the power of being in a room with other people who are having that light bulb moment, that aha moment. You got to see people turning their lives around. You saw the emotion that went into people having breakthroughs, and that inspired you to have a breakthrough.
Yeah, yeah, it did. When October of 2018 is the last time, well, when he spoke to me, and like, he prophesied over my life, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Are you ready to change?" And randomly he just came up to me. He was like, "Are you ready to change?" I'm like, "Yeah." At this time I had like red hair in my head and all this, so all the attention was all on me. And he was like, "Are you ready to change?" And I was like, "Yeah," like just nonchalant. But he said, "No, you're not." He said, "You know why you're not?" In front of everybody. I said, "Yes, I am. Why? Why am I not?" And he said, "Because you're not consistent enough. You're not consistent in God." Ever since then, I never missed a Sunday from 2018 October to this year. I've missed one Sunday, and that's because I was in school. But other than that, I've been so consistent with God. I've been consistent with church. Like I'm very disciplined. I'm very disciplined. I don't play about that. So that's the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Much More. She is a powerful ambassador for the types of lives that we live right here in America and how we can make our lives even better. We'll be right back after this brief message. Y'all sit tight. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network and our viewership. And we're back. How you feeling out there?
I
Feeling
feel
good?
good.
All right.
I'm feeling like I want to go eat, have a good time.
Yeah. We are at 9 o'clock at night here on the Eastern Coast, everybody. So, she made a sacrifice to come on here and to share her story tonight, and we're almost there. Before we went to the break, you were talking about the power of church. And I know that people look for ways to get to the youth. They look for ways to have a positive impact on youth. And so I find it interesting that in a world where it seems like less people are going to church, it seems like less people are subscribing to religion and less people are subscribing to Christianity. You're saying that it had a positive influence on you. So can you talk to me about how you see religion playing a role in the world in general? Do more young ladies, more young men need to get involved in church?
Of course. Of course. I don't like to say, throw the religious word around
Hmm.
because I've just my long as I have that relationship with God, I'm there. And I think that's why young ladies and young men they run because the religious word. Like they
Hmm.
think that it's like a cult or you have to follow these rules or follow these, you can't do this, you can't do that. But once you build that relationship with God and you really give him your yes, you will see yourself just not doing those things no more. And you're gonna see the difference between doing them and not. But I feel like a lot of individuals, they don't like this generation is just really all they care about is ambition, money, and power. That's all they care about. But there are some individuals like myself who wants to take the right route and who wants to I'm reading your titles and who wants to just do the right thing and go the right way. I don't want to make it to the top by promoting sex and drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. I want to make it to the top by saying that God is the reason is my why. God is the reason I'm here.
This is powerful. This is powerful. Young ladies who might have lived a life similar to yours are learning today that they can pull back from negative influences in their life. They can turn their lives around. Just like our elders have told us to do. She went out there and did it. Be encouraged, y'all. She went out there and did it. No, it doesn't make anybody perfect, but she's not drinking tonight. She's not in the club tonight. She's not smoking tonight. She's sharing her story and making a positive impact on our community tonight, on her community tonight. And that's important. Now, you decided to become an entrepreneur. When did you start to get into entrepreneurship?
2019 February. Like I said, I was when God told me I was going to start a clothing line. I ignored it till 2019 February. That's when everything just changed for me. So I got into it. I was just like, God, I just feel like that's kind of lame. Like I don't want to do that. I was
Mhm.
just being honest. Like that's just something I don't want to do. But since I gave him my yes, I was like, okay, so how can I start this clothing line? Like it has to be raw. Like it got to be me.
That's right.
So my name has always been much more like on all social media platforms. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be much more. I'm just gonna be self-titled. It's just gonna be much more. I don't. That's just what it's gonna be. I know it's kind of girly, but I'll make it masculine by putting a V instead of a U, so it's
Mhm.
spelled with a V. So I just started doing research. I studied fashion, like personal study. I didn't go to school for that or nothing, but I studied fashion in like on my own time, YouTube, Google. I did all of that myself, and everything that I was doing was falling into place. Money was just showing up out of nowhere because this was my calling. This is what I was supposed to be doing. So nothing was hard for me. Like as hard as it was when I was trying to sell hair before I was selling clothes. Like the hair was just not working for me. But when I started to do my clothing line, everything just fell into place, and I was like, okay, okay. So I studied 2019 from February to December, and I still study today. I'm always watching videos and learning. And in December 8th, 2019, I launched my business, and from there it's been up. And like I really feel like my mother, due to the fact that I never seen her have a 9 to 5, really put me in position, like the mentality to really hustle and really like go after what you want, because she made it possible for me. So
That's right.
I just did exactly that. I'm still doing that daily.
If you're out there watching this today, I want you to know that you can break through to greatness. You can break through to greatness. Whether you had a tough childhood, your family was in a rut, your environments were dangerous, you can break through to greatness. Nothing has to stop you from breaking through to greatness. The dots that we're connecting today is that you've got to have a spiritual rebirth. You got to do some spiritual work. And we don't have to use the R word, we don't have to use the C word, but just know this. There's spiritual cleansing that you got to do. Go out there and look around. Whether you look on Instagram, the internet, look up cleansing, human cleansing, spiritual cleansing. There's so much information about that. It's the thing to do. It's what you've got to discover. Oh, I got to clean my temple. Oh, I have to clean my spirit. And so once you do that, the only place for you to go up is up, everybody. The only place for you to go is up. So you found your purpose. We got comments coming in for the building. Shakir Yolanda says, ain't no 9 to 5. I like that. We're going to talk about that too. Dennis Washington says, found your purpose, which is awesome. Ain't no 9 to 5. Guess what? When you identify your calling in life, you study, you figure out how to put a product on a shelf, how to put a product on a rack, how to put a barcode on that product, how to create systems to move that product. You working for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what you find is that when you get into entrepreneurship, you can generate the same amount of money in less time that you would have generated at a 9 to 5. The world is yours. When you understand America is based off of capitalism, you become an entrepreneur, so many systems start to work in your favor. Not to mention, if you keep your personality, you keep your goals, you keep your perspective, and you make it dope like she did. Dope in this case means looking good, awesome, fly, cool. Then the money's going to come rolling in. Now, what I did was I went out there, I found her website so that we can check out some of the fashions that she's talking about. I want you guys to put a number 1 in the chat if you see quality in her clothing line. Put a number 1 in the chat if you see the effort that she's putting into her craft. Put a number 1 in the chat if you're proud of her tonight, because she's doing it, y'all. She's doing it. It's inspirational. And she's making it look good. So give me a second. I found her website. I'm getting ready to show her website. And we're going to talk about it right after. So you guys sit right there. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're feeling our conversation tonight. And the story of Shonteria Clarke. Check it out. Look at the models. Oh, let me go to the homepage. The sugar corset. You see it says much more on it. Scroll down. And I thought in the beginning, I thought this was her. No, she hired models. She's got different collections. You see, early bird gets the worm first, but the true hustler gets the whole bird. That's a fact. She said, listen, we're not doing 9 to 5s no more. We're getting the money. We're hustling. We're figuring it out. We're 10x in our business. We're scaling up. Yes. Everybody put scale up in the chat. Put scale up in the chat. So this is her website, as you can see. MVCHHMORE.com, muchmore.com. Let's go to shop all, see what we got here. Clothes for men and for women. Who came up with these designs? Talk to us about what we're looking at.
Me. I'm the fashion designer. I'm the creative director behind my brand. I do all of it. I do everything. But the designs, when I create my creative space, is normally at night, and I'm just laying in the bed, or I'm laying down and I'm just thinking, okay, God, what's next? Mm-hmm. And he would just give me a vision. Like, I just have random visions, whether it's from a TV show that I used to watch when I was younger. If I see something I like, I'm gonna recreate it and put my twist on it and just make it mine. I'm gonna own it.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I get my inspiration. Really, it just be visions.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the fashion brands that you like and respect?
I'm fairly new, so I'm still growing. I'm still learning new ones every day when I
Mhm.
do my research. Um, I really like Burberry creative narrative of their whole site, their Instagram, the aesthetics. I love Burberry, and even though Burberry was fell off for a little bit, but then they came back on. I love Burberry, and I like Balmain. I love the high fashion. I love the fashion shows. I was in Faces. I am still in Faces. You can never be out of the modeling troupe, but I'm in Faces, and I was a creative director. Not even noticing that God set me up for what I'm doing now, because when I was in college, I would really just be directing shows. That was my comfort zone. I love to direct. I love to create. So from there, I like Burberry. I like Balmain. I saw Milano, and I was like, hey, if she can do it, I know I can do it.
Mhm.
And that's about it so far. I'm still growing, so I'm
Mhm.
still finding out new designers.
Are there places in the world where you want to go and just touch the different textures and see the different perspectives on color and patterns? Where are some places in the world that you'd like to go?
I really, really, really want to go to Italy.
Hmm.
I just recently left California. But I really want to go to Italy. I want to go to New York. These places are what New York is in the States, and I just want to go there just to see the different styles, because in Miami it's always hot. Well, it's on and off. It's bipolar weather. It's raining. It's hot one day. So Miami people wear shorts. They wear tank tops and stuff like that. But in New York, I'm sure they're wearing trench coats. And trench coat is my favorite garment. I love trench coats. I love long jackets. Like if
Hmm.
I could wear that in Miami every day, I would. I would. I'm going to create one. I'm going to
Right.
design one. But that's where I want to
Wow.
go.
What are your favorite fabrics? Do you have a favorite fabric right now?
Right now, I love silk. I
Okay.
love satin. I'm working on something new actually for me. I feel like it gives such a rich vibe. Like it's extravagant. So
Hmm.
I'm working on a new collection. Silk, I love silk. Like I want much more to go far further than just clothes. Like I want to make bed sets, like sheet sets made of silk
Hmm.
with my name. Like I love silk. Silk just really made me feel rich, like a Chris Jenner.
Right. 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 Um. What do you see as next for you? What would you say? What your next collection entail?
My next collection will be dropping the ending of March, beginning of April, and my next collection is I'm scaling up. Honestly, every time I put out a collection, it's better than the last.
Hmm.
That's from the fabric to the sewing, the stitching, the patterns to the visuals, the photography. Like I'm scaling up every time I put out a collection. This collection is very special to me because it's my biggest collection, and I love designing man clothes more than I like designing women. I still love designing women, but I just got a thing for designing man clothes. So this collection is going to be very fun, very different, and I'm just excited.
Do you incorporate narratives in your collections?
Yes, I do. So my last collection, I don't want to give too much of my new collection,
Hmm.
but my
Hmm.
last collection was the sugar corset,
Right.
and it's called the Sugar Collection. It was the corsets and the tights that we just seen on my site. When I my nickname to my family is Sugar Mama. Like they call me
Okay.
Sugar Mama. So when I came up with a name, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be sugar like brown sugar. And my sister was like, why not Sugar Mama? Like that's who you are. They don't have to know that, but sugar is who you are. It don't have to be a public thing. It could be a family thing, an intimate thing to you. So, and that's
Hmm.
exactly what it was to me. Everything was just put together so nicely. That was my best collection. Like I say, every collection is always my best. But when it comes to like designing, I'm very big on Pinterest. Like I like to, like I say, if I get a vision, I bring the vision to life on Pinterest.
Right.
And I would literally like if I have Okay, so when I made the sugar collection, it was like orange and brown. Everything I started bringing together. Someone said, "What's my site?" It's he's gonna tell you. It's
Right.
much more, but he'll
Right.
spell it out for you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. But when it came to the sugar thing, I really had a vision, and I knew that I wanted it to be like a dungeon look as far as for the photos and the visuals. I wanted to go like in a rustic look, and
Mm-hmm.
I built that up on Pinterest. Like I was downloading rustic images. Everything was just brown and orange and stuff like that. It really played into it. So I found, well, not me, a friend of mine found a location, and we were in the basement when we shot this. It was very cold and very scary, very,
Right.
very scary. And we were in the basement, and everything just came out exactly how I envisioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything played the part. It's a lot of research that goes into my collections.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about star power, this is what I'm talking about. How do you see the extent that she's exploring her creative ability with the clothes that she's putting out? She's putting narratives in her clothing. She's communicating with you through her clothing. You talk about color selection, you talk about theme, you talk about, having a reason why you're designing things in certain ways. All those things is what makes a quality brand. When you just feel like, I have to have that, I have to have the much more brand because I'm feeling the narrative, you know. The website is muchmore.com. It's very luxurious. When you turn the U into a V, we're speaking Latin out here, y'all. We're going Latin with it. That's the direction we're doing. A high-end upscale brand, mvchhmore.com. Y'all see it right there at the bottom of the screen. Go out there and support her clothing. Go out there, get you a suit, get you a piece, get something for somebody else. Support. Let's give her a business shower today. Everybody go out there and buy something off her website tonight. Why not?
Yes.
Why not? We love clothing. We love designer look. We love designer feel. Here's another place where we can go out and get yourself right and help make her dreams come true as well. Now, when it comes to narratives and clothing, have you ever thought about communicating based on the things that we see going on in our communities today? The unrest, civil unrest, political movements are shifting all around us. Have you ever thought about a way to include some of those narratives into your clothing?
Yes, I have. When Floyd died, when I can't breathe, the whole situation that went down, I did think about putting out shirts and really putting attention on that. But I was just such in a place. I was in a place where I was just traumatized by the events. Like I
Mm,
didn't want to create during that time. I wanted to pay attention to what was going on in the
mhm.
news. So normally when big events happen like that, I really I just narrowed down into that, but I can speak more with my next collection. Who knows?
Right,
Maybe
right.
you never know what a t-shirt may do for someone. But I did have
Mhm.
ideas, and my sister also. She said she always helping me. Um, she gave me a few ideas with like having the I can't breathe, but then she wanted to have it like on the back and the front, like different colors and stuff like that. But it has to match my theme of my business. So we was
Right.
going to do a whole thing about that, but things didn't work out. They didn't play out. But that's
To me,
where it's at.
it sounds like luxury. You're building a luxury brand. That's the feeling that I'm getting.
Hmm.
And with that, let's talk about price point.
Hmm.
How do you feel about having a mid to high price point for your products as a way of communicating value and as a way of communicating that this is a luxury brand? How do you feel about that?
I I stick to my prices,
That's right.
and in doing so, if I don't offer you a discount, I can't give you a discount. Like I make sure you're getting what you pay for. I make sure that my visuals all together. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna once you see the visuals, you see the photos, you're gonna say, "Oh, I want that." and
That's
it's
right.
not going to be seen as you will see another clothing line that just put a logo on a shirt and just present it and take a picture of it on the floor.
Right.
You're not going to see it on my site because I'm a luxury clothing brand. And once I really, really like, I'm only a year in the game, but once I really get in the door,
That's right.
I'm going to really captivate all the information, everything that I can, as far as fabric, leather, like the good, good, good materials that
That's right.
I'm going to be working with those materials more this year as well with my lettersman jacket.
Hmm.
But I really I don't narrow down my price. It is what it is. I really feel like I should be charging more,
Yep.
but I'm working my way up. I'm not just going to slap, hey, this tracksuit is $200. Not yet. It's coming.
Hmm.
It's coming. So get it while you can, while it's $190 or
That's right.
$90.
So what I want to do is champion what you're saying tonight. I respect it when you say I'm going to create a brand, and it's not just going to be for any and everybody. It's not going to be it's not going to be on the bottom tier. I'm going to create a luxury brand. I think that's a very bold thing to do. I think it puts you in a position of influence and leadership amongst young men and young women clear across the world. When you say I'm going to create something that's worth having, I'm going to create something that people are going to go out there and look for, because guess what? Let's be honest. I'm not what you would consider old school, in that when I go to buy clothes, I'm looking for a certain price point. You know,
Mhm.
when I go out there for a tracksuit, I'm looking for a $350 tracksuit or $200 tracksuit. If it's under $100, I'm not thinking it's luxury. I'm feeling like after everything
Bingo.
I've been through, after everything I've been through, why would I not want to wear something that signifies quality? And so I think that you're exactly on point with that. When you say I'm going to create a luxury brand, my price point is going to be correct and effective. A lot of people don't understand that your price point needs to be at least 3 times worth the cost that
Mhm.
you're putting out to actually produce the garment. So you should always have a substantial price point when you're putting together quality goods.
Definitely, definitely. I agree. Like, and it just took me time learning that. When I started, I didn't know nothing. I still don't know nothing. I'm always a student.
That's
So
right.
I'm always learning. I'm always on Clubhouse or I'm always on YouTube. Everything I do, I'm always looking it up or asking God, hey God, what material should this be? Help me find the money
Right.
for this. And then he'll provide it. But I did want to say, when you asked me about how do I put out a narrative to my with my clothing brand. Much more, I am much more. Um, much more stands for. I didn't get a chance to say what my brand stands for. My brand stands for exceeding expectations, going against the odds, and breaking generational curses. And that's if you just heard my life story, you will understand why my brand stands for that.
Hmm.
And I just hope for that to really inspire young women and young men. I am helping individuals build their clothing brands now. You see how God work? Like he's funny because when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. Now I have a little knowledge. Now I can go ahead and help others with that. Like it's a whole
That's right.
calling that runs through it. But yes, that's why I
That's
wanted to
right.
say that my clothing brand, what it stands for, going against the odds.
Ladies and gentlemen, Much More is a brand. It has a philosophy behind it. It has a story behind it. It has a soul behind it. I'm saying that we should go out there and support her brand. Go out there and buy some clothing. If you know somebody who want to build a clothing line, she's letting you know that she's available to help you figure it out. She's available for coaching. Go out there and enlist her services. I see this as a big brand in the future. I'm going to continue to look for your name in lights, look for your brand in the high quality stores. And I'm going to encourage other people to do the same thing. Now, we're around the third base here in the show. I just got a few questions for you as we round third base here. The first question: what is survival to you?
Survival is sacrifice by any means necessary.
Mhm.
That's what survival is to me, is when your situation, your circumstances don't dictate or alter your tunnel vision. So
That's right.
your mindset is set on surviving, coming out of the streets, getting off drugs, graduating, getting a job, anything could be a survival mode to you.
That's
But
right.
it's never getting up and it's by any means necessary.
That's right. We're down to the final 20 seconds of the show. What is success to you?
Success is being better than yourself, like proving yourself to yourself, not to anyone else.
Mhm.
Like that's success.
What is greatness to you?
Greatness is evolving to yourself, never proving anything to anyone else. So evolving and becoming a better you, a better version of yourself.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Get your crown emojis into the chat. Shonteria, Much More, Clarke, I want to let you know, we've listened to your story today. We heard the way that you overcame adversity, how you pushed through, how you had a major turnaround that qualified you to be a star in the sky. We're giving you respect today while you can still receive it, and we're giving you a crown today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, much more, you are America's next motivator.
Yay.
All right. Thanks for stopping by today. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Absolutely. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you got to do is stop by and pick it up.